All right. Again, I'd like to do these little mini video clips to show my youngsters some of our offensive plays. Again, this is very dumbed down, simplified type of basketball. A lot of times, my philosophy is basketball is a make or miss game. You either make it or you miss it. And I could diagram the greatest play in the world, and if you miss it, then we lose, and I'm a bad coach. I can diagram nothing and you could just be a great player that comes down and shoots over three guys. You make it, we win the game, and all of a sudden I'm coach of the year. So I like to keep the game simple if I can. That's my goal. And I don't like being complicated. I just want to move the ball movement and player movement. But this is a little bit of a zone offensive set. Real simple. Okay. They are in a 2-3 zone. I always go opposite, and I go with a 1-3-1 offensive zone set. You go opposite, okay? Two guard front for them, one guard front for us. I just like to run simple stuff. So I call pinch. The two outside guys pinch down, and that allows my ball handler to basically rub off of those screens as if in a horn set, either way. Now, if these guys see the pinch coming down and they try to fight over it, then you've got the high post guy right there that you kick the ball to, and then he's got an attack zone. So you come off of this looking to shoot. So let's say you come off this end. If this guy's being sealed properly, this guy's going to have to be the option to step up. Okay, that leaves, if he steps up, that leaves your kick here open. If that guy came all the way over to contest, this guy would flash, and now you've got an option there. Or you could go here, and then he could go there as he's flashing to the low block. I mean, it's not a complicated set. So they are in a 2-3. We are in a 1-3-1. We call pinch. These guys have to seal well. I like to go to the side where the baseline runner is. But this guy's got to be good enough that he could see that if he's going that way, he's got to sprint over to that corner. But let's say we know he's left-handed, so we know he's probably going to come off this left side. He's got a jumper in this area. That guy steps up. He's got a kick into the corner. This guy would have to come all the way out to that corner, which is a long run, which would then let my high post guy flash right to the low, or my opposite seal guy could flash. But I prefer my high post guy flash to that low block. So now I would have 1, 2, 3 right there in a triangle kind of thing, ready to go. Now, what's this guy going to do after he seals that screen? He can maintain that seal and then flare out. He can make a read and he can dive into here. This guy, if he sees the high post guy flashes, he could go up to the opposite corner where if this guy flashes, if we had nothing else, we could skip it over to there. Hopefully that makes sense. So the seal is basically, and again, it's not complicated. You don't have to do it every time. But the key is that these guys have to have good seals. Again, if the inside zone guys see that seal's coming and they panic and they try to shoot over the top, I've got an easy high post flash here, and then the middle becomes open because that guy's now over there. Now I've got the middle open. Catch, turn, face, shoot a jumper. Okay, so this guy has to make a read. This guy has to make a read. But this play is designated for this guy to get a jumper, because he's going to be dribbling the ball and getting a wide open look right in here if everything is done properly. He could then pop on a roll. He could flare into that corner. He's either open or that guy's open. or that guy's open. And then this guy, after he sets that screen, he could flare out to here. And if none of that's open, you could skip it over to here because this guy would have to shade over. That guy's all the way out. Lots of options, and we just call it pinch. And we don't do it every time, but we do it on occasion. And the key to beating a zone anyways is move the ball. Swing the ball. So it's not complicated. After that pinch doesn't work, then it's just regular zone offensive stuff. Because I would probably have a set that looks somewhat like this. If the ball was here, that's where my 5 players would go after the pinch. And let's say we had a defender there. Let's say we had a defender there. By some miracle, this defender got over to here. Where are their other defenders going to be? He'd not be that high, so he would sag inside. So the ball could go there. It could go into there. It could be swung back and skipped. And then we just play basketball. So if I do pass it there and nothing happens, I would cut through. This guy would fill. You'd bump up. You'd be out. And I just want the ball to be moved. The key to zone offense is ball movement. Get that ball moving. So it's just like any other zone offense. The key to beating a zone defense is ball movement, player movement, shoot the gaps. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Look to overload a side so that their zone has to, compensate for that. Just move the ball. The more you move it, the better you are. And if you can get that ball inside that zone, if you can get that ball inside to that zone or to a high post, let's say the zone's going to converge and then you've got kickouts all over the place. Generally speaking, the zone is intended for teams that lack size, and let's say another team has a bunch of bigs. So then you would zone so that you would deny the bigs inside. Or you would run a zone defense if your man-to-man defense is so hideous that nobody can guard the ball, so you just go into zone. You would never want to zone a team that could flat out shoot it. And you don't really want to zone a team that can flat out crash the boards, because you don't have a lot of box out responsibilities. I don't like zone. We don't play zone. I'll never play zone. I'll play zone at a high level, maybe at the NBA level or a D1 level, or maybe even a high level high school program. But I don't like zone. I think it kind of makes you weak. But we see a lot of zone when you play AAU basketball, especially in the local circuits. Zone is a 90% defensive move. All these volunteer coaches and these hideous guys who never coach basketball, or they're like high school freshman coaches, they don't know how to coach man-to-man. They'll just go zone. 2 things that if you want to recognize a bad coach, in my opinion, just look for a coach that constantly zones and constantly traps. Because then you don't have to really coach the game of basketball and teach the fundamentals. You just turn it into an athletic contest, run up and down the floor, and you win. But I've seen so many teams like that get beat by the fundamentally sound pass-first offensive team. So again, this is pinch. 2 outside guys, pinch down. Real easy. And then you've got options. And you keep moving. Keep the ball moving.